and this is not going to be a new subject. It's just going to have a new energy to
Something happened at the ballpark that you didn't like.
So I went to the game Saturday.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit of a frustration sensation because the Giants, they fell down 2-0. Yaz was kicking balls out in right field. There was stupid stuff happening. Hayden Birdsong was walking people. And it was just one of these like 2-run rallies for the Twins where you're like, well, that was unnecessary. They didn't even do anything to earn that. But then the Giants battled back and they tie the game at 2. And I was a little sheepish because I'm like, well, geez, the Giants didn't deserve any of those runs either. Their 2 RBI hits were Yaz off the handle, exit velo 4, followed by Elliot Ramos, exit velo 12, kicks off of the pitcher's glove, needles its way into short center field. Those were their 2 RBI hits. So I was like, all right, fine. All things are even. We've worked it out. It's 2-2. The only frustrating thing was Matt Chapman, 3-run homer would be in the first inning was called foul, and there's still those out there. Dwayne Kuiper's one of them who are like, dude, that thing ticked off of the foul pole. It hit the foul pole. And review was inconclusive, and so the Giants did not get that 3-run homer. And then later in the game, 2-2 tie, I think 6th or 7th inning, Carlos Santana hits one in the exact same spot. And then they go to review, and it is a solo home run. And so the Twins take a 3-2 lead. And here we are, 3-2. And if my memory serves, it is bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the 8th. Twins 3, Giants 2. At the plate, Farhan Zaidi's former 13th overall first-round pick. His name is Patrick Bailey. Swing and a mother bleeping drive. He pimped that thing. He drops the bat and stares at it. Dibs, he got all of it. Remember the home run in New York, the grand slam?
Oh, yeah.
Looked exactly like that. Gone. Way gone. And he takes 1 step, and he takes 2 steps, and you could see it on his face because I watched the highlight in slow-mo, and he went, oh, Schmidt.
Oh.
This is a home game.
Oh.
It is gone. But caught.
But caught.
I better start running. And he ran to first. And then he ran to second. And then he ran to third, Dibs. He's a catcher, and he hit a triple because he hit a ball 430 feet. Don't give me the stupid StatCast that said 417. That's wrong. It's wrong because it hit 20 feet high up on a wall that's 425 feet away. So that was not 417 feet. 430 feet. And this game is not tied. Because I'm sorry, there are moments that we have to acknowledge where Triples Alley is stupid. It just is. You love golf, and we watch this every year in the U.S. Open. The USGA gets tricky, and they're like, watch us. Waka, waka, waka. We can make this so hard that you can hit a perfect shot 1 foot from the hole on a par 3, and then the ball's going to trickle and trickle and trickle. Oh, sorry. You had a perfect shot, and now it's not even on the green. And what do players do every time that happens? They go, this is stupid. Stop tricking out the golf course. I'm a professional athlete, and when I nail it perfect, I want to be rewarded for it. Now, this affects the other team the same way it affects the Giants.
Yeah.
So this is not about sour grapes. It could happen to any player. The bottom line is, when you are a left-handed hitter and you tie into one like that, you deserve a home run. You deserve a home run. And I'm mindful that the Giants, what did they do? They had the 13th overall pick again yesterday in the MLB draft. You know what they did?
Yeah. They blew it.
What?
Got a left-hand hitting power hitter?
That's exactly what they should do. It's the only way you're ever going to get one to come here.
How about you get a right-hand hitter who doesn't have to deal with Triples Alley?
The only way you're ever going to get a left-handed power-hitting outfielder is to draft him. So thank you, What's the guy's name? Tiggs or something? Something from Florida State.
Tiggs the third.
There you go. Welcome to the family, Tiggs the third. That's how many home runs you're going to hit in this ballpark. 3, because most of them are going to go off the wall. There's a moment of frustration. It's not sour grapes. This affects everybody. But I wish we would admit that sometimes, not all the time, I know that there are good memories out there. I know that Gregor Blanco flopped out there and caught a ball one time and it led to a perfect game. All of these things happened. But we have to acknowledge that there are times when Triples Alley is really stupid. Because in baseball, when you get one like that, you deserve a home run. And Patrick Bailey arrived at third base and was visibly furious. Furious. Could not believe that was. He looked like he's like, this is the farthest I've ever hit a ball in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I'm on third.
Triple.
I'm on third with 2 outs.
Well, then you got to have more pull power. And you got to hit over the short porch and right.
But that's not the way baseball, where you hit it where you hit it.
So what do you want to do about it? I mean, we're not going to sit here and spend 7 hours a morning drive.
Admit that it's stupid sometimes.
I won't admit that it's stupid.
You tricked out your ballpark and for aesthetics.
It's the crown jewel of Major League Baseball for aesthetics, without a doubt. So do you want to throw a fence in front of the wall at like 380, some hokey little, when you go to a Little League park and they don't have an actual fence because the Little League field is a part of a bigger complex, so they take that temporary fence with the net that by the third inning is droopy in left center and falling down in right. So you want to get some hokey, tricked out short porch in right center? No, it's muscle up, Bailey.
Muscle up.
Muscle up and hit a ball out. And you know what? Maybe get out of the box and see if you can get an inside the park home run. Get on your horse.
Well, no, that wasn't going to happen. Nobody was going to get an inside the parker on that. When he made it to third, look, I'm not going to come down Bailey's road because he hit a ball 430 feet and you don't like where it landed.
Not good enough.
No, I'm sorry. I get that you're being partially sarcastic.
Completely sarcastic.
But the bottom line is there's nothing you can do about it. No, I'm not suggesting some stupid Atlanta temporary fence in front of it. I'm suggesting that Larry Bear and others maybe, and even if I'm not asking for a press conference, just do this in your own moment. Acknowledge that you did something that wasn't great. That ballpark could have been just as aesthetically pleasing with its brick wall not being that far out. Acknowledge it. It was a mistake. You could have had the crown jewel of baseball without a power alley being 425 feet. And this isn't about Patrick Bailey's ball not going out. It's about Shohei Ohtani being like, I'm not going there. It's about Bryce Harper going like, I'm not going there.
Yeah, it's definitely a part of it.
I'm not going there. And they're never going to come here. And it's not the Tenderloin. Okay?
It's the right field.
Wall.
It's Triples Alley.
It's the wall.
Well, then just
messed up.
Bust out the wrecking ball and tear down that wall, Gorby.
It's too late. It's too late.
Yeah. So now you have to design your team to maximize your 81 home games.
And I would argue that in the draft, they did that yesterday.
Right. By getting another left-handed power hitter who's going to hit fly balls to right off the bricks and settle for a triple. And then leave in free agency.
Maybe. But free agency, as we know in baseball, is 47 years from now for that kid.
True.
He's got 88 arbitration years and a pre-arb, and who knows what the hell's going on. He's going to be under control probably until he's 28 at least. Actually, he's a college player. He's going to be under arbitration until he's 30.
Yeah.
So
assuming he ever makes it to the bigs, which is a crapshoot in baseball.
Right. But I would argue that the Giants, I'm glad they did it solely because they need to do this more. It's the first time they've done it since Hunter Bishop.
Which is starting to work out now.
Yeah, well,
he's starting to make his way up.
He hit one a country mile yesterday in Sacramento. We'll see if he ever makes it. But your outfield, your left-handed power hitters, you're not going to get him in free agency. So you got to find a different way. If that's trades and if that's the draft, do it. And so they did that yesterday. And that's all you can do because it's too late to fix the mistake that is Triples Alley.
That's not too late. I mean, you could slap a fence out there.
No, but
you could get like an 8-foot high wall and just knife it right in front of the brick so that home runs will go over the fence but short of the bricks.
I wouldn't advocate that either.
Of course not.
They've already moved it in once. The bricks are where they are.
Yeah.
The bricks are where they are, and they should not be where they are, but they are. So what are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
You can move home plate. You could, move home plate up a little bit. And,
but
and you're talking about a complete redesign, and then right field's going to be about 285 instead of 309.
Yeah, and left field will be a bandbox. I don't want Cincinnati. I just want something that makes, to me, that's the line in pro sports. You know what I mean? Triples Alley feels like if Steph Curry pulled up for a 3, but we're at Rock and Jock and somebody can pull a string and make the hoop go up. Be fair. Be fair. If you're a left-handed hitter and you rack a ball, it's a one-run game in the 8th, and you hit a ball 430 feet, dude, you deserve to be rewarded. And that's all. That ball is out of every other ballpark in the majors, but not this one. And I believe it to now be, as we look in retrospect, the way they built that, I know they wanted something unique. I believe that it has turned into a mistake. I'm not saying they should have or even could have known that at the time. It's been 25 years and more than that since they came up with the renderings. Baseball was different then. Baseball wasn't about launch angles then. It wasn't solely about hitting home runs. And at that time, the Giants had the only hitter maybe in the history of life who was not bothered by Triples Alley. He just hit it right over it. And by the way, he did not do so organically. So, no human being without embellishments has ever been able to consistently hit the ball over that fence as a left-handed hitter. And I believe, here's another one I believe. I believe the Giants fan base has a different view of Brandon Belt than they would if that thing wasn't out there. Because he would have been someone who had hit 35 home runs as a Giant. He would have been looked at completely differently. But that's the way it went. And so
that's the way it goes.
And that's the way it goes. So you take your medicine, but the only thing you can do, I believe, is what you did yesterday. And things like that. Stop asking free agent left-handed power hitters to come.
You need to trade for one I think is the best way to go about it. Because you draft a guy and you have no idea if he's going to be any good. And you hope he is, but the history of first-round picks in baseball is more checkered than it is in the other sports. And, I miss the old days of baseball where you had real fields, like the polo fields, the polo grounds. That means polo grounds, 483 in center field.
Well, why do you want that?
Willie Mays, the famous catch that he makes with his back to home plate, that doesn't happen in these modern bandboxes. He would have run out of room. 483 to center. That's baseball, Mark.
Willie Mays would have been barely out of the infield if he was playing in ballparks like you see some of them now.
Oh, yeah.
Because he felt like you couldn't hit it over his head, and he was largely right.
He was right.
But I think you're kidding again. But
a little bit.
Yeah,
but
480. Nobody wants that.
But I do think that, what baseball has become is an over-reliance on the home run. And yes,
agreed. I agree with
smokes it, and it's a home run in 29 out of 30 parks, and it's not. I don't think that that's necessarily a problem. You rack it off the bricks. Every ballpark is different, and I love that about baseball. You've got the monster in Boston and the pesky pole, and every ballpark has its unique features. Houston's too easy. Oracle Park is too hard as far as hitting home runs. Every park has its own unique dimensions. If we want to just go to a straight cookie cutter where every park is the same, we can do that. But I like the fact that Oracle Park is a difficult place to hit home runs.
I'm not bothered by that. I just think that area, it's too excessive. I'm with you. It can be asymmetrical. It can have its own personality. The heavy air of San Francisco is going to do plenty to make it a pitcher's park anyway. To me, it's just too intense. That fence angle is crazy. They built it down the line and right, so because their thinking was this is going to be like, I remember when it was built. They're like, oh man, it's going to be almost like Boston in left field. It's going to be a lot of home runs. It's literally like you've got to hug the pole or else it becomes a very, very long poke because the fence is so high. And I don't mind asymmetry, but it's too intense. It's too intense. That fence has already come in once, and it's still 4 1/4 out there. And for a power alley, again, I don't need much to argue what I'm arguing. The left-handed power hitters have said no.
Yeah.
You've been begging them, and they've said no. and I've got it on decent, not great, but decent authority, that it was very high on the list of reasons that Shohei chose to not look too deep at the Giants.
Of course.
It was the ballpark.
Too difficult. Even as a pitcher, and he would thrive, and, he's sitting out a year as a pitcher, but as a hitter, it's definitely going to cost you some home runs.
Let's go to David in the city. Hey, David, you're on with Willard and Dibs. What's going on?
How about drafting some athletes? How about getting some athletes? You got a big ballpark, draft some athletes. Bottom line.
I don't hate that take at all. I mean, I think they're trying, but I will argue, David, of the things that Farhan Zaidi has said publicly in recent years, the one thing that he said that they have absolutely not followed through with their word is being more athletic, faster, better defensively. They've said they want to do that, and then they don't.
Well, that's why they got Jung-Hoo Lee, and he fit that bill.
That's fair.
And then he, was so athletic and so good defensively that he crashed into the wall and his arm almost fell off.
That's a fair point, but that's one guy.
It is.
They wanted to do it a lot more. They haven't.